Hi folks, welcome back into the channel. Moza here. We're back on the Footium trail because I've been sitting for the last couple of weeks as we've dabbled in other bits and bobs thinking, what next? What's the next topic of the video as we're awaiting beta coming out, which by the way is only going to be a week or two now away from here, and you'll get first dibs, first look at it right here. So I thought I'm going to have a look in the community Discord. By the way, since the last time I am now officially a community helper in the Discord, so if you see me, my name will be a slightly different colour. Thank you to the guys at Footium for trusting me. And I have noticed that interest is picking up again, and with that there are a lot of questions that keep getting rehashed and re-asked and replayed, even with guys that already own clubs. So this is my simple FAQs essential advice guide, what is actually going to happen on beta launch and on full launch of Footium. Now, this is not a guide on what Footium is. It's not a guide on how to buy a club. Both of those things I have done. You'll see them up in those corners. Go and have a watch if you need to do so. The first one's more general. The second one is basically buying a club on OpenSea and getting going. But that leads us nicely into this video and where to start. But before we do get started, one last thing. If this is useful to you, or if you've enjoyed it in any way, please consider hitting that like button. You've also got the big red subscribe button there if you don't want to miss any Footium videos or other NFT Metaverse gaming videos going forward. And you've got the little bell that I don't talk about that much, but that will alert you anytime I put a video up live, and it's up to you. I don't personally use them because it can get a little bit annoying, but if you want to know, it's there for you. So without further ado, let's get going, shall we? Bit of Kenny Omega there. So, first question, or the first prompt that has been coming up all the time from people in the Discord or generally on Twitter is, when they buy a club, how do the seasons actually work? And I'm here to tell you, because there's been a bit of confusion. The initial plan changed from what Footium wanted, or what they planned because of community feedback. So right now, when the game launches, there will be one game a day. You will have 12 teams in your league, so you'll be playing them home and away, 22 games in total. Those games themselves will last probably around about half an hour from what the guys were saying, so not the 90 minutes as you might have seen previously, and it will generally be around about 3 o'clock UK time kickoffs, or 5 o'clock UK time kickoffs. I believe that the last time it was 5 o'clock that was mentioned, at 5 PM, that being in UK time. So wherever you are in the world, it should correspond to that for now. That could change obviously as the game develops on. Every club will start with 20 players, and your club is an NFT factory because every player is an NFT. However, you do not have to pay for them. You have the option. So with your 20 initial players, and then you'll produce 10 players at the end of every season. Once you've played your 22 games, you get a few days off with the transfer market to consider buying other players that are out there, to get ready for the next season. You'll also produce these 10 youth players. Of them, you can choose to mint them, which is like a long-term contract, and it also means that you can sell them on the transfer market. If you don't fancy them, if you don't think they're that great, you can just use them for a few years. They can sit in the squad, they can be a body, and they can leave at the end of the next few seasons. So it's generally, the rough idea is 18 when they come through, 18 years of age. They would leave at the age of 21 after a few seasons. They don't cost you anything, and as long as you're fine with that, you can go with that. However, if you're higher up the rankings, higher up the tiers, it might be worth considering minting these guys if you can make a profit selling them to lower down teams in the transfer market. So what kind of players can you get? Well, you're going to have standard players. The vast majority of players you're going to see will be standard. You'll have some rare players which have the ability to excel themselves more than standard players. They're not guaranteed to, but they have the potential and the ability to do so if you use them right. And finally, you have legendary players. Now, legendary players are going to be slightly different because they are going to naturally be quite hard to get because they are the elite, and they will be performers and they will guide clubs up the levels to success. When the game first starts, before the first season, there is going to be a legendary player auction. Last count there was around about 50 players going to be up for grabs, and they will go to the highest bidder. So you have that to bear in mind, that you could supercharge your squad at the very start if you're willing to pay money. Then every season onwards from there will be another legendary player auction before the season starts, but there would only be 20 players as a plan. So with less players available, the prices could potentially go up. You do not have to buy legendary players, but if you can, it's definitely going to give you an edge. Any club, bear in mind, can produce standard players or rare players. Legendary players, at the last time I checked, may pop up very, very, very rarely in youth intakes, but generally it seems like the idea for legendary players is they will go through that auction process every season, so don't expect them to come through any youth academies, and that's the way they'll control the amount of these players that are in the ecosystem generally, so the game won't get flooded with them, and they'll have that intrinsic value because of that. Having said that though, touching on one of the most frequently asked questions, you buy a club at the bottom, Division 8. You can still produce a legendary player through your youth academy. The chances are lower. The average player you're going to produce will be lower than the higher tiers, but there's always a chance. And if you produce that rare player, everyone's going to know it's a rare player because the cards will be marked that way. You can mint them, you can put them in a transfer market, make some money, invest it into your squad, take the profit, try and build up your stadium or do something else that will be possible when the Footium token launches. It's up to you. You've got all sorts of opportunities, but use them as you will. You do not generally have to keep them and play them. You can also see them as an investment opportunity. So we've covered how a season works, how many games you're playing, when you're playing those games, transfer market, types of player cards, types of player. That brings us to what happens at the end of a season. How does promotion and relegation work? So to make it perfectly clear, you'll see two things related to league with your club. You will see a division and you'll see a league. The league number doesn't really matter. That just tells you what teams you're going to be up against in your particular league. But if you are a Division 8 club and you win your league, you'll be promoted to Division 7. So you don't need to run through all the leagues at that level. All that matters for promotion and relegation is the division. You will go up to Division 7 if you win your league. Simple as that. And that goes for all the tiers. If you are at a higher tier though, Division 7 and up, and you finish in the bottom 3 clubs, you're going down. You will move down to the tier below for the next season. Again, you'll just need to wait and see what league you end up in, but don't worry about having to go up and down different league numbers. They're basically just there to help locate your club. It's the division that's the important number. So how does promotion work? Well, champions always go up. 3 teams from the league above always go down, but bear in mind every tier has double the amount of teams and double the amount of leagues, so you can't promote 3 teams from every league. It's 1.5, which means we need playoffs. If you are in your league and you have a look as the season comes towards a close, you will notice that position 2 and position 3 are playoff positions, playoff berths. If you finish second or third, you will unite with another league at your level, their second and third place teams. The 4 of you will enter playoffs, and 1 of you, the winner, will be promoted. The other 3 will remain in the same tier in the same league. So it adds a little bit of excitement towards the end of seasons. I'm somebody that loves playoffs and football generally, and I can only imagine the Twitter meltdowns that are going to come. Bring it on, I say. As far as prizes go, the team are currently working on that. We know that there will be ETH prizes for certain positions. There might be consumable prizes, say for example a rare player might be up there for grabs for someone. There could be Footium tokens up for grabs and other little things, but it looks as if around about half the teams in a league will be rewarded in some way. The other teams, so those relegated, will not get a reward for that season. The teams just avoiding relegation, it doesn't look like will get a reward either. If you finish top half of your league, expect to get something, and that will be obviously confirmed as we get closer to the full launch. So hopefully that sums up the way the game actually works, the league system. Now into the game itself, you can play players in different positions, but they will be natural at certain positions. You'll see this if you look back at the example stream that Footium put out, the Soccer Saturday style stream, that they show green when they're in their favoured position. If they're in a position they know but they're not natural, they'll go yellow, which means they'll be less effective. And if they're red, don't do it. We've seen what happens when a right back plays in goals. It ain't pretty. That's a little idea of how it's going to work. We won't know officially, we won't get a feel for it until we all get a hold of the beta as well. But it's got similar tenets to old school Championship Manager games. It's going to work in the same vein. If players are in a good mood, if players are happy, there's been a note if they are minted and they've got a long-term contract, they might be slightly happier, which might lead to better performances. If the fans are happy, if you've got a trait with your club that says that they support you through thick and thin, you're probably going to see a boost in your home games. All of these little things will add up, but ultimately it's going to come down to lineups and tactics. And I can't tell you what the way to do that is. You're going to have to work that out yourself. Be you a manager, be you a scholar, be you an assistant manager. We're going to have to find out together and go through the pain barrier. But hopefully we can find something that works. A couple other assorted questions that I've seen coming up. Firstly, will there be a mobile app? That is something the team are looking at doing, and it's not going to be here anytime soon. All their concentration is on this league and on full launch, which is completely understandable. They aim to get a mobile app, or at least a mobile version of the website, ready pretty pronto. So you'll be able to not just go through a computer, like you might be out and about, you might be away with work, could be any reason that you're away. Anyone can generally get on a phone to check lineups, to see what happens in any games. That will be possible. In terms of the price of clubs, it's going to be harder to work out because, as you know, I am not a qualified financial advisor. I cannot make predictions or give financial advice. That's all. I can make a prediction. It might not be right though. 99% sure it won't be right. But as of recording, there is a floor right now for clubs at 0.22 Ether. So it's as cheap as it's been for a little while to get involved. The closer we get to full launch though, I would expect that to pick up. So this might be your best opportunity to get in if you've not bought a club yet. Having said that, there will still be opportunities to get involved, which leads us to the next question. There have been rumours about new mints, other clubs coming available. All that's going to happen for the first quarter, so quarter 2, when the game launches, the clubs are already minted. There are 3,066 clubs there, and they are the only clubs that will be available. So you must buy those on the secondary markets, be they OpenSea, Rareable or Looks Rare. Come quarter 3 and quarter 4 though, the team aim to launch on new blockchains, and it will be a vice versa, very similar layout in that you'd expect the same 8 tiers, you'd expect the same number of clubs. Obviously there'll be brand new badges, brand new names, and they will be available but on a different blockchain when it comes to the minting side. So we don't know what the price will be. The price of these clubs was 0.05 Ether at the time. So anyone who is minted, who's held on to a club, has made at least 4 times profit if they sell today, which obviously is good for them. But it just depends how things work out and what blockchain they go to, how popular it will be coming up. So we will await with bated breath to see what happens, and you can bet your bottom dollar I'll be there looking to get on that whitelist for the next mint, and I suspect a lot of you guys will as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing where we're heading off to next. One other thing that has been mentioned a couple of times but probably will become more of a focus as time goes on, it's not just league games you're going to play, there are cup competitions as well. So there may be days where you play 2 games, just depending how it all fits in, given that a season will last around about a month. We have the big cup that involves every team, and then there are certain basically division dependent cups where you'll have the equivalent of the FA Trophy, the Carabao Cup, these kind of things, just to fill in the gaps. But everyone will have an opportunity, a realistic opportunity of winning a cup, given that they will be in a certain competition with teams around about their level, even if a tier or 2 higher, not too much higher. And the word from the team when they explained this was cup games will be slightly more unpredictable to allow cup shocks, so expect more fireworks when those come along, and I, again, for one, can't wait. This was just a quick, short fire video, full of FAQs, full of questions that I keep seeing coming up. Hopefully it's been helpful. If it has done, and if you'd like to see more Footium videos from myself, the guides that I've already put out there are in the playlist that is marked up there. You can drop a like or even a subscription if this has been useful to you. The more likes this video gets, the more people will see it recommended to them, and we can spread the word, so hopefully it helps. And finally, if you are enjoying Footium content and if you're excited about it, I also have a club that might be of interest to you. So say you're watching this, you're not quite sure if you can afford to get involved as yet. You're maybe considering whether you really want to jump in before you see the game itself. I have Kettran Villa, a community club that is going to be managed by you guys, the viewers. If you want to get involved, the link is shown on screen and it is also in the description down below. I will have different managers take, say, a couple of games every season. We will see how we all do together. If that gives you a taste of it and you enjoy it, then you can consider buying a club or trying to get a scholar role with someone who's got several clubs and needs help. Also, if it goes well and the club keeps moving up the rankings, I might consider doing a giveaway. So we'll wait and see how it works. Say if someone is able to be quite responsible for promotions or cup shocks, I might be able to get you a club. We'll wait and see what happens. But link is down there if you want to manage it. I will be in touch when the club is ready to go at launch. And yeah, we will see what happens. But otherwise, thank you very much for watching. Appreciate every single one of you. It's good to be back. Hopefully we'll have beta content and up-to-date video of beta in the next couple of weeks. I'll let you know exactly when it comes, when I'm in it. Drop the Twitter a follow down below, not just Moza Plays but also Penn City FC, to keep an eye on the exploits of me and my club when we are in beta. And otherwise, have a good one. Catch you later, folks.